Poetry analysis is easy. In fact, you've probably done it many times without even realizing it. You understand your songs as you listen to them. You analyze the words, you analyze the tone, you analyze the mood. You get the big idea. You've analyzed many poems without even realizing it. How does analysis work? I'm going to give you several steps to analyzing a poem, but really analysis works the same in every situation. Step 1 is to know what you're going to do by understanding the meaning of analytic terms that you will apply as you analyze. You must know what each of the words below mean. The analyst will observe, interpret, infer, analyze all of these items, and finally evaluate their analysis. Step 2 of the analytic process is to translate and summarize. Your goal in this case is going to be to translate a poem that you have, line by line, into your own words. You will paraphrase the literary meaning or the plot of the poem. A true understanding of the poem must evolve from the comprehension of the poem, or what is actually going on within the poem. The third step of poetry analysis is connotation. The goal in this step is to contemplate the poem for meaning beyond the literal meaning. In poetry, connotation indicates that the analyst should examine any and all poetic devices, focusing on how such devices contribute to the meaning, the effect, or both of a poem. You should be considering imagery, figurative language, symbolism, diction, point of view, and sound devices. Finally, you'll link all of these considerations to the overall meaning of the poem. The fourth step in poetry analysis is the step that focuses on the mood and tone of the poem. The goal here is to observe both the speaker's and the poet's attitude. The poet and the speaker might be two separate entities. Keep that in mind. After examining the poem's devices and clues closely, explore the multiple attitudes, including the mood and the tone, that are present within the poem. Here you will describe the mood of the poem and the tone of the author or the speaker. This was explained in the previous step. Step 5 of poetry analysis focuses on changes or mood swings within the work. The goal here is to note shifts in the speaker's attitudes or emotions. It's rare if a poet begins and ends the poetic experience in the same place. Discovery of a poet's understanding of an experience is critical to the understanding of the poem. You should always trace the feelings of the speaker from the beginning to the end and pay particular attention to the conclusion. In order to find these shifts, you need to look for the following. Keywords such as but, yet, however, although. These are transition terms. Also, punctuation like dashes, periods, colons, ellipses. Or stanza division could indicate a shift. Changes in line or stanza length, or both. Irony. Sometimes irony hides these shifts, so pay careful attention to irony. And then the effect of structure on meaning. Changes in sound and rhyme could indicate a change in meaning. Also changes in diction from slang to formal language. Tupac did this in the poem we read, Liberty Needs Glasses. Step 7 is to discover the theme of the poem. The goal here is to determine what the author is saying or wants you to learn or feel after you read the poem. You identify the theme by recognizing the human experience, motivation, or condition that is suggested by the poem. This step within itself has its own system. To do this, you have to summarize the plot. We summarized the plot in A House on Mango Street. We did a lot of plot summaries. You do the same thing with the poem. You list the subjects of the poem, moving from the literal subject to the abstract concepts it's talking about, such as war or death, or remember in Liberty Needs Glasses, it's about injustice. Then you determine what the poet is saying about each subject. You write a complete sentence making a statement and point about the subject. The next step is to go back to step 1. Think about the title again. The goal here is to examine the title again, and this time do it on an interpretive level. You have questions you should be asking yourself at this point. Why is the title what it is? For example, why did Tupac title his poem Liberty Needs Glasses? What does the title mean? Finally, this is the analysis overview encapsulating everything we've discussed. How you analyze a poem requires the following. You need to know the literal meaning, the allusions, the diction, and the theme. You need to know the tone. How is it making you feel? Its structure. How is it presented? The sound and the rhythm. The language and the imagery. The images, patterns, symbolism, metaphors, similes, personification, symbolism, and analogies. And then, of course, always the main idea. Be able to state this in a single sentence. Finally, answer the questions that follow. What is the poet trying to say? How forcefully does he say it? And with what feeling? Which lines bring out the meaning to the poem? Does the poet gradually lead up to the meaning? Or does he state it right at the beginning, like Tupac, Liberty Needs Glasses? The last line of a poem are usually as important as the first because they either emphasize or change the meaning of the poem. Is this so in the poem that you are currently analyzing? Be sure you address all of the issues and have fun in your analysis.